Yes, it's true. Women need modesty, and some women in this audience may know that I lecture about modesty. I don't know how many women here know about that, especially modesty between husband and wife in labor and delivery. I'm no stranger to that. But we have to remember what our goal is. Our goal is that every mother should live healthy and take care of a healthy baby.
Mr. Vorkis and Dr. Mann, could you just pause a few moments for a few questions?
Sure, thanks. And were both of you talked about a patient and it was the same patient?
Yes, I started and she finished.
Okay.
I just told her the story in the car.
Okay.
I have plenty more stories.
Sure. So let me ask you about stories. Have either of you, have there ever been any assertions against you that you provided inappropriate or inadequate care?
Where? In the hospital?
Yeah. We're just kind of throwing bombs here.
So,
but with regard to that one case, so that's because the ambulance didn't get there.
No, because I asked her to call her someone, she said no, if you want to know the truth.
But do you
she said
know?
No, but the patient's bleeding. She said no, there's no politics when it comes to saving a life.
But do you know, was it another ambulance call?
Yes, from Midwood.
Okay, so they did call the ambulance.
15-minute drive, and we were 2 blocks away from Flatbush.
So another ambulance was called?
Yes.
Okay.
And I asked her to call up someone, she said no, I'm not supposed to. You don't want to hear me. She said I'm not supposed to, but that's politics.
And at the time, Ezras Nashim didn't have an ambulance that they could transport, right?
But they wouldn't call up someone either to save a life.
So you had indicated one of the great things about Hatsala is that they have muscles. Do you think that they should allow women to be EMTs?
With certain parameters, I have no problem. I have no problems listening to that. With parameters of Jewish law and modesty. I also know they have 2 men sleeping in the ambulance on 16th Avenue for night calls. But they only have I think they only have 1 ambulance because they don't need more because there's no traffic. But you can't have a woman sleeping there, so how's she going to get into the ambulance?
Thank you.
I mean, I understand the issues involved, but I have no problems with it.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions for the two? Okay. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very, very much for your time and your statements. Do we have further witnesses?
I would defer to your list, Hearing Officer.
Okay, so I see there's a Shavi Grossberg. I see Libby Mendelovitz, Meyer Fryer, Rabbi Bernard Weinberger. There's a Paul Barbara. Okay.
You want to speak? Yes. Dr. Kaufman can speak.
Okay, Dr. Kaufman, thank you.
I could wait. I'm so comfortable.
I apologize. Scott, I apologize.
No, sir, you've been tracking who has gone on the list and who has not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and those names you've read off?
Those are names that have not spoken.
Okay. I would ask that we begin at the top and work down in order as we had discussed earlier.
According to my list, then we look at Scott Orlansky.
Oh, this could be fun.
Good evening, everybody.
Mr. Orlansky, your name was written. If you just spell the name for
Sure.
For ours, you got it. Beautiful. Got it.
Good evening. My notes said good evening, but now we are good night. My name is Scott Orlansky, and I represent the United New York Ambulance Network, affectionately known as Onion. Onion throughout the state represents 30 companies and 1,000 ambulances. In the downstate region, we represent 12 companies and over 650 ambulances. 650 ambulances that can be brought to respond in Borough Park at any time. I am here this evening to speak in opposition of the application made by Ezras Nashim. Let me be clear, having read through the entire application and being as familiar with EMS as I am, there is absolutely no need demonstrated for a new certificate to be issued. In fact, it is our position that granting this certificate of need would be harmful. The idea in EMS is to provide quality patient care in a timely manner. It would be clinically wrong to grant the certificate of need to provide a lower level of care, BLS, than the ALS already available in the area by Onion members, as well as existing resources in the community. The applicant also claims to provide slower response times than provided by our members and existing resources in the community. And those times are not the standard of care that the public is looking for. The essence of the application is want. And to quote the application on page 12 or 13, depending on which one you're reading, it is a quote, wish, quote. Policy statement 0606 is very clear about what public need is. A lack of care not currently correctable through a reallocation of resources. Our 650 ambulances alone, in conjunction with the fire department, voluntary hospitals, and the volunteer agencies clearly demonstrate that there is no lack of care. If the members of the public, or the council, do not like or disagree with policy statement 0606, then I suggest you legislate change. However, until such time as 0606 is amended, revised, or repealed, that is the guiding document that we are obligated to follow. Muddying the waters as the applicant has done regarding religion and statements of want is problematic. Advertisements are ongoing to operate in many areas of New York State, including Flatbush, Rockland, and the 5 towns in Nassau County, show that the application is filled with statements of want and not need. The only matter that can be considered by the council are the ones that are directed by policy statement 0606. Those are geography, population, level of care, those existing and available, quality, reliability, and response patterns of existing services, types of service, emergency or non-emergency, special needs such as air, industrial, or facility, service effectiveness, cost and operation, and other local factors. Not feelings. We are not here to discuss feelings. In their application, the applicant does not allege any deficiencies, much less prove any deficiencies in the current EMS system. The application is a 180-page, beautifully written fundraising document that speaks to issues of wants, desires, wishes, and preferences. It is not the purview of the council to deal with the aforementioned wants, preferences, desires, or wishes, nor is it ours to deal with religious dogma. That is best left to the religious leaders and not for this council. We are here to discuss and ultimately to vote on need, and clearly no need exists. Thank you for your time.
Any questions? Okay. Okay. Council? Committee? Nope. Thank you, Mr. Orlansky. All right, let's see, who do we have? Rabbi Bernard Weinberger. Nope. Meyer Fryer.
No.
Libby Mendelovitz. And maybe last but definitely not least, Shavi Grossberg.
Dr. Kaufman also.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dr. Kaufman. Ms. Grossberg?
Grossberg first.
Please come on down. Thank you. And I have news for you. You're not last. Doctor, I think you may be. Thank you, patience.
Thank you
Ms.
very
Gross,
much.
thank you, your patience, for being here.
Sure. Thank you, hearing officer and the ambulance committee. Before I begin, I just want to mention, it's very interesting what Mr. Fryer said about in New Square, this big rabbi that had asked the women to start their own division. I actually was in New Square when I had preeclampsia last year when I had my baby. And I was there, and I called Hatzalah, and the way it works is they don't have their own division. It's that the Hatzalah member comes, you get into the Hatzalah ambulance, they actually make a stop at one of the women's homes, and then she comes in to the back of the Hatzalah van, and I was more than happy that she sat there holding my hand the whole time. So I just wanted to clarify on that. So I've been teaching for over 20 years. The first thing that I do when I walk into a classroom is I I give out my phone number, and I tell all my students that if you ever feel alone and you ever feel you know where to turn to, you can always call me. So over the years, I've had many students come call me, different problems, different issues that they want to come to discuss with anyone else. That ended up morphing into me mentoring teens. I've had several people live in my house for extended periods of time, whether it was students of mine or word got out, you know. I recently had a woman who was thrown out of her home and she didn't have where to go and she stayed in my home for several months. So what ended up happening was, with all of this going on, I sort of like became an address for people to go to call when they felt that there was an issue in the community. So over the past few years, I'm very lucky. I've been very instrumental in having many meetings with very important people in the Borough Park community and implementing new initiatives. And amongst them were in our education system. I had many meetings with different principals. We discussed different ideas and new initiatives which we then implemented. I was also a very big advocate for early detection and early awareness. And in the summer months, I felt that mothers just have a little more time on their hands, and many of us go upstate to the Catskills. So we did have groups of women actually traveling to different bungalow colonies in the Catskills and speaking about this in a more relaxed fashion. I'm heavily involved in the special needs community. What ended up happening was that there were a lot of women who approached me when a child was born and they didn't know where to turn. It just morphed into that. I actually started a hotline that is worldwide. Anybody from all over the world that has a special needs child can call this hotline and they can discuss different things amongst themselves, and we have educators coming on, and it's something very special and it's been very helpful, the special needs community. One of the most important things that I started was something called the food pantry. I don't think anybody here has ever heard of it, and the reason for that is because we keep it extremely discreet. But I did have women who would ring my bell and tell me that they couldn't feed their families. And I couldn't believe it. You know, this is going back about 10 years ago. And I said, how could that be? There's food stamps and there's so much available help over
Ms. Grossberg, I apologize. Could I ask you to try and stay relevant to, I'm
Yes.
sure you do many good works, and I don't mean to diminish it, but could you focus on what we're here tonight and
Yes.
speak on the application?
Yes, my
Thank you.
apologies. What I was trying to say was that I do have a lot of moments, I'm not going to mention them, but when there is a void or when there is a need in the community, most likely I will have heard of it. I have people call me constantly, we need to do something. Never, not even once, has anyone ever approached me that they felt that there was a need for a women's emergency service. So that was one point that I wanted to make. The second point that I wanted to make, and I'll finish with this, is that one of the initiatives that came to my door was a woman from Canada who reached out to me. Her name was Mrs. Seltzer. She had written a book on modesty, and she had the signatures of many big rabbis, and she wanted me to bring it into Borough Park, which I did. And I lectured extensively on it, different things such as, you know, not only modesty and looks, but also, you know, not speaking loud in public, and, you know, the different, really, it was many different things. I spoke extensively in different schools and to women, so when it comes to modesty, again, I will have people call me, ask me questions, and never, again, not even once, has anyone ever said, I feel like it's a breach of modesty when I tell someone that comes to my door. So I just wanted to finish on that. I'm sorry, I know I said I would finish, but I want to mention one more thing, please.
Please, go
I did
ahead.
have to call hotel member once. I had 8 children during one of my pregnancies, and it was, like the doctor had said, you know, it's just an uncomfortable position. And he was so caring and so nice that when my son got engaged and we shopping around for diamonds, I actually told my husband, I believe that hotel member who helped us deal with diamonds, and he had such integrity in helping me. I can't imagine a better person to sell us the diamond. I have no doubt that he's extremely truthful and integrity. That's all. Thank you.
question?
No questions.
Okay.
And it has come to my attention that we do have one other witness. I would defer to the good doctor, though. He's been waiting so patiently.
Okay.
We could bring her after.
Okay. And who'd I miss?
Lima Halpert. I've got an email from Maria.
I'm sorry.
We're going to add her.
Yep. The name is there. I apologize. And that's my overlooking. Ms. Halpert, are you here? Doctor, do you want? Okay. Ms. Halpert, come on down. Thank you. And my apologies. Halpert, is it? Am I spelling it right, Ms. Halpert? Your last name is Halpert, and first name B as in boy, Lima?
Right.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, so you just introduced me.
I apologize. No, I think you're going to introduce you.
Okay, my name is Lima Halpert. I'm your typical Borough Park Jewish woman. By typical, I mean I was born in Borough Park. I went to school in Borough Park. I got married in Borough Park, and I married a man, incidentally, who also lives in Borough Park. And I have 10 children. So I pretty much feel comfortable.
Thank God.
I pretty much feel comfortable coming up here representing the people because I know the mindset of our women. Now I had a nice speech. Prepared, and then I got sidetracked because I was hearing so much other information for the first, from 5 o'clock until now, that I just started scribbling so many things, and I just was like, do I give my speech? Do I respond to what I heard? I think I'm just going to respond to 2 things because people made such good points. I'm not a good speaker, and if I repeat it and I don't say it as well, it's not going to kind of ruin it for the other people. Now, point number 1, when women call Hatzalah, it's in situations of emergencies. Ezras Nashim keeps on talking about calling and feeling. It just kind of made me wonder why we're here. We're talking about an emergency situation. And the word trauma being thrown around like that, I mean, I'm traumatized. Seriously. And for most of you who don't follow the Jewish religion and you don't know us well, I could really sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. I could tell you anything, you'd almost believe me. And the reason I'm saying that is because not one person here made this point the entire time. The entire basis, the claim of Ezras Nashim is not because women need better care. It's because women need people to feel their feelings. Why? Because modesty is so important. Let me tell you how marriages work in our community. Okay, well, let me go back now to the woman that's traumatized. The woman who's traumatized when she gives birth is married, has relations with her husband, and she's pretty comfortable with a man in her life. And yet, in a situation of an emergency, when she might not make it, or her child might not make it, she's traumatized by a modest issue. Let me tell you how kids get married in my community. You might not know it. You might get traumatized. Our children go to separate schools. Our daughters do not talk to men, right? That's why women get traumatized when a man sees them. Our daughters never play with boys. They reach the young age, and they also don't watch, as someone says, they don't have iPhones. They don't look at TV. They don't know what a boy or a man looks like. They become 18, and a mother pulls them into a room, and they say, honey, I love you. Marriage is a great thing. We have a shidduch for you. Someone suggested a boy from the next block. Do you want to meet him? And the girl says yes. And she talks to him for an hour, and he looks sweet. If they're not that Hasidic, they might meet again. And if they're not that Hasidic, they might meet even yet again. And then they're engaged. And they never talk to each other the entire engagement. And then they get married. I have yet to hear of one bride be traumatized by marriage. She never saw a boy in her life. She never spoke to a boy in her life. She never watched TV. She doesn't even know this is traumatizing. And you know what? They come to their Sheva breakfasts and they're smiling. All our couples are smiling and they're happy and they're on the clouds. They are so happy. This woman, when she has a baby, does not get traumatized when a man sees her. Not if she didn't get traumatized the night of her wedding. And I will ask the Hatzolah members here how many times they have calls to women on the night of their wedding. Please tell me. And you're going to convince me that these women, when they have their children, are traumatized? Really? You know what trauma means? Trauma means hemorrhaging after 9 months of pregnancy. And when you say 9 months of pregnancy, it means nausea, varicose veins, weight gain, tiredness, the whole gamut, everything that goes on. And then, when she is about to lose it, she's not traumatized? That's trauma. And when Hatzolah comes and delivers that baby, or transports her, they are so grateful. What a distortion of reality I have heard tonight. It's appalling. I have nothing more to say.
We're good? Okay. All right, doctor. And I want to say thank you. I'm going to ask for us to calm down, quiet down. Thank you again for everyone. Doctor, I think you're going to hold us up in the best possible way.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
There are 2 women here from the other side that are harassing me. They just told me that I'm a disgrace.
All right. So I'm going to order. Ladies.
It's neutral.
I'm going to ask that we. I'm going to. If you'd like to have a private discussion at another point, right now we're in a public hearing, and we want to hear this. I thank everyone. Again, I understand the sensitivity of the issues. I understand the polarization that may happen, and the passion that's present. But I think respect is paramount, and that's been here, and I'd like it to remain while we finish up here this evening. Doctor, if you, again, just announce yourself and spell your name for the record.
My name is Brad Kaufman, Kaufman. I don't think I'm related to Rabbi Kaufman. Maybe. I'm from the fire department, which is a proud supporter of Ezras Nashim, and obviously we work extremely closely with Hatzolah every single day. I am the first deputy medical director of the fire department, and I'm also in that role of medical director for the 911 emergency medical dispatch system. I just was going to make one point, which is directly related to policy 0606 and the consideration of need in reviewing the papers from council for Hatzolah. I did not see the reporting of the number of times or percentage of times when Hatzolah is on the scene or is called and requires to request resources from 911 because they either have an additional need or require additional resources. I think that would be an important point for consideration when you're taking need into account. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Okay. Questions?
I would only submit that it's Ezras Nashim's application, not Hatzolah's application.
That's absolutely the case. Any questions from the committee?
Guys, you guys all good?
Yeah.
Good?
Okay. Doctor, thank you very, very much.
Anybody else?
Are there any other witnesses that we have? We're precluded from inviting people who'd like to come and join us. We are not precluded from coming to an end. I will tell you the following. Again, I've mentioned this a couple times. I am deeply thankful for the passion. And even though passion may be uncomfortable, but it is done from spirit, it's done from heart, it's done from truth. And we may have different truths, we may see it differently. I don't know how I see it. It is complicated. I think I may have invoked Solomonic decision-making, and the only saving grace that I have is whatever my recommendation is, these good people get to decide ultimately. So I'm not making a final determination. I'm the conduit. I am privileged to have been here tonight. I'm thankful. It's difficult. Again, we're bringing it back. Need versus want. Is it legally okay to have all male? Is it optimal? Is that something that's cognizable under what we have over here? We have a very specific process detailed by New York State, and in both the law and the regulations, and the ultimate question comes down to what becomes need. And when the committee will get my report, yay or nay, I'm sure there'll be disagreement, and there'll be people who like it and people who don't like it, and there'll be people in the committee who like it and people who don't like it. And it is what it is. I will tell you that you will get fairness from me. I know the vast majority of the members of the ambulance committee, and you will get fairness from them. They will call it as they see it, fairly, without prejudice. And I certainly wish the entire community, again, Shavar Hatzolah has a wonderful reputation of timeliness. The level of inclusivity of women is not mine to judge, but it seems that is a reason why we have an application here before us. How does that play out? I don't know. I have to do my homework. I have to scratch my head a lot and think. But I want to say thank you as I go and deal with the four corners of the application and the four corners of what the laws and regulations are saying. I'm going to ask Marie to give us a sense of what the time frame is from going forward, because Marie's going to tell me what the time frame is for the ambulance committee to meet, and for me and my deadline in getting a decision.
There you go. Our ambulance committee, well, the hearing officer will be receiving a copy of the transcript as soon as poor Daniel can put it together.
God bless you, Daniel.
Already asked him to do it as quickly as he can. And the transcript will be sent to the hearing officer and to members of the ambulance committee and the regional council. The hearing officer will use the transcript and all the other information that he's gotten ahead of time to put together his recommendation. That recommendation will then go on November 19th to our ambulance committee, and they will consider that information and make their recommendation to the regional EMS council. It is the regional EMS council that will finally decide if there is, if need has been identified. That decision will then be sent to the State Emergency Medical Services Council to have their final decision. And at that point, either side, whoever is a winner or loser, can appeal it. So this saga may go on for a little while longer. Any questions? Well, thank you everybody for coming tonight.
Please get home safe.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. It was good seeing you.
Next time over like a
Next time.